My name's Jen Agosti, and I'm working with the National Center for Child Traumatic Stress, talking today about the trauma-informed organizational assessment and how it's connected to the EPIS implementation framework. So first, as I said, I'm Jen Agosti. I had the privilege of working together with Jane Halliday Goldman and Carrie Purbeck Trunzo, both from the National Center, on creating the TIOA way back in 2016. We worked really, really closely with a lot of network sites, affiliates, partners, and many folks were really, really gracious to help us not only with development, but with beta testing, pilot testing, until it was refined in its final form somewhere around 2019. So the TIOA, what is the TIOA, as we affectionately call the trauma-informed organizational assessment? So in our world, it is an organizational change process, and it's anchored in the TIOA assessment tool. Now, the tool is anchored in the NCTSN definition of child and family service systems, but the overall process of the TIOA is anchored in the EPIS implementation framework. What is EPIS? So EPIS stands for it's EPIS, exploration, preparation, implementation, and sustainment. And we know that there are a lot of implementation frameworks out there. So we're not endorsing one over the other, but the reason we chose EPIS to use together, really to marry it with the TIOA, is twofold. First of all, we had recently, back in 2016, used the same framework to develop a guide for senior leadership and implementation collaboratives. And we thought it was really important to just sort of maintain that consistency. The other reason we chose it is because we think it's got a really, really helpful connection between the work that the team leads and the team in an implementation effort does with implementation science. And we knew we were going to be relying really heavily on implementation team leaders, implementation teams. And we really wanted to make sure that the TIOA didn't become a standalone tool, but really lived within a change process that ultimately resulted in organizations that used it to become more trauma informed. So what have we learned over the last however many years? So the first thing that we learned, which I don't think I can say enough, is that exploration and preparation should be in a bigger font than anything else and should be bolded and maybe even neon flashing. That very often, and it's very natural, people want to jump into implementation. In the case of the TIOA, it means people come and just want to send out the survey link. Like, how do I send out the survey link? What we know is that without the exploration and preparation phases, we lose the meaning. So if we spend enough time up front with exploration and preparation, that's what makes the survey, the actual tool, meaningful, valuable, not just to the individual respondents, but to the organization as a whole. We know, and what we've seen is that not only do response rates go up a lot when we spend that time in exploration and preparation, but people's understanding of the items increase. So they know what they're answering as they're answering it. Because we're spending time with organizations in that exploration and preparation, it almost serves in some ways as like a de facto training about what trauma-informed practice even is. It builds a common language, creates a shared mission about the priority, and it really shows the investment that the organization has in trauma-informed organizational change. Ultimately, what it does is it really engages the entire staff who will be responding in the entire change effort. But what's really important to note is that even though we're highlighting and neon flashing exploration and preparation, we also aren't ending with implementation, with sending out the survey link. In our case, the goal is for the survey results to get used and inspire change and drive change within the organization. So the respondents all along need to be actively engaged and part of that change process from the very beginning. What we would say, and what I would say for sure, is that EPIS is not something that works well when it's done in a meeting room with people who have big titles. It's not something that's mandated or done unto. In the TIOA, we believe that particularly the exploration preparation phases are opportunities to comprise implementation teams that are diverse, multi-level, ideally reflect the various perspectives, including those who are most impacted by the work of the organization. And so that goes all the way through the sustainment phase, that we really want everyone at the table responding to the results, thinking about the results, and then using those results to say, what do we need to do better? And how do we do it? What are strategies that can result? And that is the S, the sustainment phase. All that being said, we're still learning. We're now working currently in 2023 with our second TIOA cohort, providing a learning community to help them go through the entire process together. And we're learning and striving to walk our walk by embodying the values that we believe are inherent in the TIOA. Additionally, I have to mention that we've just completed a coaches cohort, which are a group of amazing individuals, highly skilled, brilliant, inspirational folks who are also now available and able to support others through their TIOA journey. So, with all of this, again, I think the TIOA, like many things, can be seen as a tool, but we see it as a process, and we see it as a process using the EPIS framework as the anchor.